Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. Hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off with the black pieces against a 1957 from the Philippines. We've got a G6 E4 Knight F3. Very interesting. Sort of declining the modern, potentially going into a King's Indian attack. We could play like a Bishop G7 here. I started in my bullet games recently playing a D5. Which could be interesting, sort of delayed Scandinavian, which is weird. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see how that goes. I don't know. I think it works. We'll probably end up going Knight F6. Yeah, could work. And then our usual sort of Scandinavian tricks, I guess. With this fianchetto, C5 is probably a good move here. But we'll play this anyway. Who cares about being down a piece? Like I always say, not a piece. I hope I don't go down a piece. That would be awful. They just don't want the pawn, I guess, which is fair enough. I'll take that pawn back any day. Sure, and we'll just sort of get a good position out of this. We'll go for Bishop E6, which is a weird move. I know. I'm well aware it's a weird move. But there are tricks behind it with knight takes with the attack on the queen. Queen there's probably fine. I would consider even a knight bishop d7 here, to be honest, to block that check. And then they're not going to take again because the queen's under attack. And they just give up a piece here, which I'll happily take. I will happily take. Actually, yeah, no, the knight covers the check, so we're all good. And then if they throw in the check here, we go b5. Happy days! I'm up a piece. That's a quite nice, tidy tactic. And we actually get this rook at the same time as well, which is insane. If they go queen there, we can think about an e6. Help tidy up the position. But I will just take the free rook, thank you very much. So we're up a piece and the exchange out of the opening, which is insane. But yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm honestly, I'm not complaining at all. I'm quite happy, in fact. That's an interesting attack. Going after my rook, play it safe. You know, why not play it safe? We'll get castled and then we can think about moving this queen into a more attacking position, I guess, is the way to put it. Another interesting move, actually. Yeah, so we can't castle. We could castle out of this, but in fact we should castle out of this. Castle's bishop takes queen e8, right? Oh, but then rook e1. Yeah, so we might have to play a bishop f6. We could go knight f6. We could also go knight c5. Oh, knight c5, bishop takes. Duh. Should we just castle? No, we can't castle. We can't castle. We'll go bishop f6. I don't want to play bishop f6. It's an annoying move. I think rook e8, e1, sorry, works here. We could think about a queen a5 hitting the bishop. They go knight there. That seems like a waste of a move, to be honest. I don't really see what that's targeting. We have this annoying move, queen a5, if they go knight there. Actually, no, we don't. Yeah, they're still not particularly hitting anything because we have this. Actually, no, they take with check. Okay. Yeah, I mean, going down a pawn is not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world at all. Yeah, I think that we're right to put the queen here to defend the knight after queen takes. Maybe we're walking into some pins, but we always have like a rook e8 to stop it. Yes, I think. We could have also... No, we couldn't have done anything else there. That was the only move. Was to save the queen. I think. Again, we're going to be humbled by the computer here. But we are 5 points of material up, so we can give back. We can afford to give back a pawn, you know. If this knight moves, I would definitely like to trade off the queen. Definitely like to trade off the queen. With check, double attack on the king and queen. But we'd have to do bishop takes first. They go there? Really? Well, now do we have rook e8? Knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes. And then something else? Yeah, I think we have rook e8 here. I think we have rook e8. I don't see why we don't. I mean, they go for this. They're willingly trading off into a bad endgame, which isn't particularly good for them. Obviously, a bad endgame's not... I don't know what I'm on about. I would like to go rook c8 if we get another free move. That's, in fact, probably where we should have gone. And you move with the a rook just to get off the pressure of this diagonal with the queen. I think is the way to play it. Yeah, and then we're threatening to take this. And then see-through as well. We're threatening again to trade off the queen. So if they give us another move here, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. I'm pretty sure I've decided. Yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, like, once we get these pieces off, we should be in a winnable endgame. Like I said, we've got 5 points of material, up a piece and the exchange. For it's not even pawns at that point. It's just straight up material. So yeah, I'm very happy. They're going to either take with the bishop or the knight. They go knight there. Well, at this point, they're sort of asking to trade off the queens, right? I'll happily do that. Get rid of a lot of their pressure. They could move the king, but then, again, I'm just taking. You know, I'm not fussed about potentially giving up material. Not fussed at all. They might be thinking about a knight there. Looking for the fork. But again, a rook c8 is okay. Basically, is just okay. And I think they moved this back because they realised they didn't want to trade off. But with the queen on c7, you can't really avoid trading off if you move this knight. So, yeah, that's that. That is that. They could decline the trade, but not in a way that matters. I think not in a way that matters. Because either way, I'm trading off the queens. Yeah, there we go. They go knight back there. Actually, that's an interesting move, threatening the fork as well. But like I said, I am not precious about a pawn at this point. I'm really not precious about a pawn. We just have too many pieces to care, to be honest. So I'll stop the fork here, and then we can think about going e6. Again, happily trade off. Rook takes is an interesting move, actually. Rook takes rook here. Yeah. And then I think... so the threat here, actually, I should say, is knight there with the fork on the king and the... What's it called? The knight. We can go here, though, right? I think is the way to play it. Yeah. There. Rook takes. They're still threatening. They're still threatening the fork because the rook covers that. But we would just be up a piece even if we sack the exchange back. Yeah. This is unnecessarily complicated. So unnecessary. Go there, takes king f8 potentially. And we are still up a rook at that point, threatening this with mating threats. I think that's probably the way to play it. Just go king f8. And just look to trade things off further. I think if we hold on to the c pawn, we're good. We can let this a pawn potentially slide, because realistically, the further they push it, the more moves they're wasting. When we're going for their king, is probably a good idea. Yeah. Oh, we could have probably gone knight b6 actually there, because knight b6 actually threatens this knight at the same time. So if they take, then we take, and if they take the knight, then we save the pawn. That's probably the better way to play that. Yeah, and then we go king f, whatever that is. King f8 is probably the better way to play it. Avoiding this fork and avoiding this fork. They go knight there. We probably go rook e6, right? We can go rook a8. Rook a8 takes, check, takes, and we're just looking to trade off. Yeah, this is I've I've severely misplayed this, I think, unfortunately. This is so unnecessarily complicated. Oh no, we go rook e5, right? Rook e5, knight takes, rook is trapped. Knight is trapped. I don't know how to speak either, apparently, which is great. They do have this fork, but the knight covers for the time being. And if they threaten like that, then we can go there, which is really interesting. Takes, covers the fork, and if they fork here, that doesn't work. Oops. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're still winning. I'm pretty sure. I'm about 80% sure we're still winning. But this is so unnecessarily complicated for no reason, other than me just misplaying it. That's all I can say, to be honest. No excuses. The rook can't cover the knight on a6 as well, is another important point. Yeah, so they free up some space there, and I think here I go to g7. G7, knight there is annoying, but then we just go d5. Yeah, I think this is better. We don't lose this h pawn. Knight there, we go d5, hitting this pawn. The king goes over. We go rook e8. And then look for stuff that way, I guess. Go there. Rook a5, possible. Rook a5 is possible, but probably just rook d8. Oh no, we just take the pawn, right? We just take the pawn. They go there. That's insane to me. We just grab this. Yes. I don't see why we can't just grab that. Unless there's a tactic I'm missing. Oh, you're looking for that? Oh, and knight's covering d7. Okay, well, worst case, we go f8, right? Worst case, we go rook f8. And I'm semi-comfortable with that. It's not ideal. But we're going to play a knight d3 next move. Kick out this knight. And then we can free up the rook again. And we're just up a rook. Down a pawn, I believe, which is this a pawn, which is slightly annoying. They can take this, though. Oh, no. I've really let this slip. This is not good. Oh, crikey. Oh, gosh. Okay, they didn't go for that. Which is fine for us. I don't know what's happening anymore. There. Takes. Check. King there. There. I don't know what's happening. We need to cover that pawn. We gotta. I don't want to do that. We've got to do that though. Realistically, we have to do that. We can consider getting the rook to b1. We'll get this pawn. We will get this pawn. I think. I hope. I really hope. Oh no, I can't afford any more miscalculations here. I can't afford any more miscalculations. I think we get this pawn, right? I think. Yeah, they just go for the pawn. We'll check. Not even a check. I don't know what I'm on about. My brain is not working at all. Yeah. And the knight goes there, which is weird. We'll go there, I guess. Right? Rook there, we go knight there. And that hits the rook, and the rook can no longer actually defend the knight. So now we've freed up this rook here because the knight can no longer attack this f-pawn after it moves, which is good for us. They go knight there. Okay, well, we'll go rook b8 then. Surely, rook b8. Rook b8, knight there. Check. There. Nah. There. Knight there. There. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Emphasis on think. Yeah, and yeah, they go there. Now we go here. Keep chasing the knight. It's got nowhere to go on this side. Got nowhere to go here, so it's got to go back here. Oh, they throw that in. That's nothing, really. A minor annoyance, at worst. Actually, that's threatening mate. Okay, you know what we'll do? We'll run upwards. We'll run upwards and we'll mate the king. God, this is so sketchy. This is actually so sketchy. What am I doing to myself? What am I doing? Knight there is a great move, by the way. I've got to spend the time to go king f5, right? And then run up this way to go after the king with mating threats. It's so risky. It's so risky. We lose all of these if they really want it. That's a great move as well. Gosh. What have I done to myself? Well, we'll go up there then. Oh, yucky. So yucky. So yucky. King f3. With now an unstoppable mate, actually. This is mating 2, right? Now we go there, and this is got to be something. I mean, you can't do anything. You can't do anything. There's nothing that can be done. Surely. Surely here we've got them. Surely here. There's no more checks, and you can't... Yeah, you resign. Wow. That was a roller coaster. I did not appreciate that. Way harder. Way harder than it should have been. But we did it nevertheless. We did it nevertheless. Let's see this horrendous accuracy right now. What have we got? So 68.7 from them, 75.6 from us. 1700 versus 1800. They just messed up in the opening, that's all, basically. It's a cheap trick. It's a trick I've done before, and I never feel great doing it. But that is the whole purpose of this bishop e6 move. It's positionally horrible. Positionally horrible. But there is just this one trick that people seem to fall for. And it's so easy to fix. Like, you go there, computer suggests b3. Piling on pressure with the knight as well, and then you've got to do something about that for sure. And this is why it's positionally bad, because this is horrible for black. But it's just a discovered attack. It's literally just a discovered attack. You hit the knight's hitting the queen, the bishop's undefended. That's all it is. The queen has to move, or they take the knight, and then you take the free piece. We've got this lucky b5 move that holds on to the bishop quite nicely. And because it's also counter-attacking the queen, they have to give up the rook as well. Just snowballs. And then it's all about getting our pieces in order here. They put some annoying pressure actually on our king with this bishop move, which is really nice. Apparently we can actually castle out of this, which is insane to me. I thought bishop takes queen e8. Rook e1 looked fine. Apparently queen e8 is not the best move though. Oh, you go rook e8. And then I guess that's just a trade. And then you are threatening to take as well. And if they go rook here, then you can consider even moving the queen. Apparently knight f6 is the best move with a counter attack. Oh, and then you get check out of that. That's quite nice. I like that. I like that. Knight d4, castles is fine. Queen c7 is the move. I want to see what it thinks about b6. Also the best move. Apparently, you've got two best moves, sure. Rook e8 is good. Trading off the queens is fine. So maybe we didn't mess this up too badly. Maybe we didn't mess this up too badly. Yeah, and knight c5, not the best move. I liked knight b6 on second thought. Really? Oh, because they get the fork this way. But surely then you still just go up a piece. Right? Surely then you still go up a piece. And you've got to say, you can't not say this is winning for black. So maybe not as clean as I thought. Yeah, they played some tricky tricks. They played some tricky tricks, which I respect. Apparently you let them do this because of the mate in one threat. Makes a lot of sense. And if the king gets closer, you have knight e4, which is also really nice as well. And you just say, no more checks. Well, you have a check here, I guess. You go king h8, and then no more checks. Oh my gosh. Wow. I love that. I love that. a4. Knight d3, not the best move. Again, you still just go for mate with rook b8. Forget about this threat, which is cool. Take some pawns, kick around their knight a bit. And then this is a really cool threat as well with knight g5. If we play something where we're preparing mate, all of a sudden we're getting mated here because rook takes, and then the knight's covered by the rook. And this is really, really nice. They took a move here to play h3, which I get. Threatening mate like a second time, because the knight's covering these two escape squares. And the pawn's covering this one. But now you're giving me too much time. Apparently, the move to play is knight takes, which is ridiculous. Oh, and then you get rid of the defender of this knight. And if they take with the pawn... then rook takes check, and you still get the knight. Wow, that's beautiful. I really, really like that. And then you can't get out of this, no matter what you do. You just can't. So apparently the move was rook here, and then at least you've got some blocking moves with the rook. Say they waste a move. Worst case scenario, you have a rook e1, which still mates because of this knight, which is unfortunate, but you've got some resistance, I guess. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I want to have a quick look at this opening, because I think it's cool. I think they were wrong to play knight here. I think takes is a much better chance, like we've seen in a lot of the Scandinavian. Especially in this Scandinavian gambit sort of thing. We don't have... They've played knight f3 here, which covers the d4 square. Which is... So if we go back to the normal Scandinavian, like we used to play, we go there, c5, c6, takes. They don't have this d4 move because queen takes. Knight takes as well, but queen takes. You know, queen takes, knight takes is the idea where you're instantly making threats. And then they have to play something else like a knight f3, and then we get e5 in, which is our hook. We don't let them get the center. We free up our pieces, potentially even looking for an e4 push as well. In this situation, that doesn't work because they already have this this knight developed, so they can just play d4 straight away. At which point you're actually sort of playing this more like the knight c3 with takes, where you're sort of trying to win this d4 pawn, whether a bishop g4, I'm guessing bishop e2. You can think about trading and win this center pawn, which is interesting. But yeah, it's cool. it's interesting. They play d5 apparently, which makes sense. You made a little pawn chain in the center. You've got a bit more room. Probably a knight e5 here. Put some pressure on this way. You're also hitting the c pawn then. The problem is, after this, you can't do this because of check, which is devastating to say the least. So what you do, I'm not quite sure. Oh, you go rook c8 to cover the knight first. So you don't even trade bishops. In fact, you do trade bishops. But basically, you've not got the same activity from the gambit. So that's probably the downside of playing d5 straight away. You're better to play just a regular modern perk King's Indian setup. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked. And I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.